Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I have another card to share using the November Kit of the Month from Unity Stamp Company. I'm also using a little bit of the fun freebies that come in the kit. So you can see kind of the image there that I'm pulling out that I decided to use and my sentiment. And here included in the kit this month, I received just this beautiful parchment kind of paper and a craft envelope. So I'm kind of making a vintage inspired card, just inspired by those freebies that were included this month. So I've already trimmed these panels down just to A2 card size. I'm going to trim this down a little bit further, taking an extra 1/2 inch off of each side. That way when I finish doing all my stamping and everything, it'll provide a little bit of a mat on my card base. So this image is a little quirky. I noticed as I was starting to line it up on there, I wanted to make sure, mainly the important thing on this was making sure that that little teacup was level. I felt like that was kind of the point I was going to use as a reference. And as I put it on there, I wanted it a little bit off the edges. So once I had it kind of in place, I just tweaked it around a little until I was happy and matched it up with the grid on my Misty there to make sure that it wouldn't be all cattywampus once I stamped it on there. So I'm going to stamp this 2 times with black ink on that fun parchment paper. And then I'm going to come in and add a little bit of ink blending just to kind of soften those edges and enhance that kind of parchment feel to this. So the first color I'm blending on there is antique linen, and I'm just using a blender brush to go around the edges. You can hold it up in the air or do however you want to do the ink blending. I like to just use a piece of white printer paper. It's inexpensive, it's easy, it keeps my desk clean, and it kind of gives me a spot to start ink blending. I'm moving on there to tea dye is the next color I'm using. But I find that I get the smoothest blend if I start off the edge of the cardstock. That's why I like using white printer paper. I know some people prefer a glass mat, and then you can kind of pick up and reuse that extra ink as well. But for me, this is just kind of the quickest, easiest way when I just want to pull out and do some quick ink blending. All right, now instead of stamping that sentiment directly onto that panel, I decided I wanted to make it pop a little bit by stamping it on a little bit of white cardstock. So I just did it on a clear block. It's a super easy sentiment to stamp. I didn't bother pulling my Misty out. And I'm trimming it down, first of all, into a thin strip. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to have it go all the way across or quite how I wanted to place it on there. I thought about trimming it into a banner. In the end, I ended up just trimming off the extra and keeping it really nice and simple as just a sentiment rectangle, I guess you could say there. I still wasn't sure if I wanted to set it off or overlap it, but I did end up deciding just to adhere it in that top section there. I trimmed a piece of white cardstock down a little bit, and then I have a craft card base, and I kind of have everything laid out there. And I wanted to add all these soft neutral colors. I wanted to add a little pop of color. So I pulled out, these are Nuvo Pure Sheen gemstones. These are cherry hearts. They come in 3 different sizes. I kind of played a little bit with my placement there, and I finally ended up just picking, they come in 3 sizes. You could do this with jewels or sequins or enamel dots or even Nuvo, just the liquid enamel drops, and you could put them on there like this, but something just to add a little bit of a bright pop of color. When you do everything in nice neutral colors, it's fun to just add a little bit of contrast there, and these hearts were kind of a perfect complement to that. So I adhered all of those pieces together, and I'm just gonna tuck a little bit of liquid adhesive to hold those gemstones on there, quickly just making sure I'm happy with the placement before I stick my liquid adhesive on there, and then I'm committed to it. And then I took that entire panel, instead of using foam adhesive, one of my new current favorite tricks is this is Kids Fun Foam that I've trimmed down to slightly smaller than an A2 card size. And then I have 5-inch wide score tape, just super wide, thick adhesive, and that way I can quickly adhere that on and add a fun bit of dimension onto this card, aside from the jewels that are on there as well. All right, and that's all for this card. Thanks so much for coming by today. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.